1950, and a person called Julian Huxley published a paper discussing a subject that later became the ultimate mission of great minds such as Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, but also raised arguments and aggression among so many people. A subject called transhumanism. Hi, my name is Pedram, and today we are going to discuss what is transhumanism and why some people call it the most dangerous approach of mankind while the whole world is running towards it.
Keep watching for his
medically improve the quality.
According to science, transhumanism is a position that humanity wants and should be allowed to use technology to enhance cognition and bodily functions. In simple terms, it focuses on humanity's desire for perfection and views technology as a road towards this perfection and towards this desire. And it says that people should be allowed to mix technological gadgets with themselves in order to overcome the limitations of a body made out of flesh and blood. For example, one of the most obvious iterations of this approach is the robotic hands for people who have lost their hands, and it basically helps them interact with physical objects, which is totally fine and beneficial until it's not. Before we get to the creepy part of the discussion, we need to know how transhumanism is being implicated actually in the real world. There are numerous ways, but they all boil down to two main categories: corporal and mental. The former translates to gadgets that only affect the body, such as robotic hands, carbon fiber legs for runners, or hearing devices, etc. The latter affects the mind. For example, there are control devices for mentally handicapped people so that their minds can function as a normal person. As you can see, most of these gadgets, until now at least, were produced for medical purposes, and they exist to fill the blank of a missing function. But things get weird when there is no missing function, but you want to enhance something. I give you an example. Right now, researchers are working on a robotic hand that has cognition, and when it touches an object, it decides what kind of grip it needs. Or another famous example could be Elon Musk's Neuralink chip that is going to be attached to our brains and help our brains function. On the surface, it looks so interesting. I mean, who doesn't like to learn faster, think faster, and decide faster? I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? Even I myself would love to. Even Mark Zuckerberg tells that when such a chip is implemented on the human brain, people could interact with each other more interestingly. Imagine, instead of sharing photos and videos with each other, we could share the actual sensation and actual feeling of that moment with another person. And this is like a really deep connection. We can literally see the world through each other's eyes. But as always, this is not the whole story. There are concerns, or questions I should say, that have made so many people angry about these gadgets. There are three major concerns about these gadgets. The first one is the social division. Basically, some people argue that in case such a technology is being mass produced and became commercialized, would everyone be able to afford such a project, or would it be limited to rich people or an exclusive group of people? History tells us that whenever something good was invented and came to society, for a long period of time at least, only rich people had access to it. For some time, it was only exclusive to these rich people, which is not the case right now. But most commonly, these emerging technologies usually are so expensive that only a limited group of people can afford them. This also raises another question. that if a limited group of people can think faster, learn faster, and decide faster, would they even need other people, or would they even want other people to be as good as themselves? Or the rest of the people would be just workers? Come on, we cannot be so pessimistic about it. Of course, right now we have access to all the emerging technologies, and it's about time that we regular people can have access to anything new that is invented or came to the society. And so let's assume that these chips or these gadgets basically are invented, they are in the society, and every person has access to them and can reach their potentiality, also known as human 2.0. Well, it sounds quite fair, but this is actually the second concern and second question that rises in the mind. See, the human itself is an unpredictable creature. We have seen people make decisions that are neither logical nor emotional. And we might ask them that, okay, why did you even make that decision? It doesn't make any sense. This is the nature of humanity. But if we have a chip in our minds, we might not be as unpredictable as we are right now. Because no matter how advanced this technology and this chip is, it's a combination of a software and a hardware. And imagine the case that you have it, and for example, some big companies sponsor neurostimulating devices, softwares, or signals or whatever that triggers people to buy something, or for the employees to work harder or work faster. And this is a concern, right? The last but not least discussion is about the responsibility. And the question here is that if this gadget does something it is not supposed to do, who is it to blame? For example, the cognitive robotic hands I told you before, if it commits a crime or grips someone's neck, for example, who is it to blame? The owner or the hand? Because the hand is also conscious a little bit. What should we do? So we can probably say that transhumanism is a double-sided blade, but I'm so curious to know, what do you think? Do you think this approach or this movement would revolutionize us and make us human 2.0, or would lead us to our absolute misery? So curious to know, what do you think?